I'm Shani Suber, Dean of Instruction and Online Learning at Brookhaven. In this video, I'm going to show you how transcripts will make your audio content not only more accessible, but also more useful for a wide variety of audiences. I'll also give you some tips for creating transcripts. Let's start off with a quick definition. Transcripts are a text version of audio content. In a transcript, the text provides an accurate reproduction of any spoken words. This means that someone can read the transcript without playing the audio and they will get the same information word for word. In addition to capturing all spoken words, transcripts also indicate who is speaking. For example, if the audio is an interview, the transcript would include the name of each speaker before the text version of what they said. Finally, transcripts should include information about any relevant sounds that are included in the audio content. These would be sounds a person reading the transcript would need to know about in order to get the full context of the original audio. For example, a transcript would make note of mood-setting music, or an audience clapping or booing during a speech. Let's take a look at an example to see how all these elements come together to make a transcript. Here's a web page that has both audio content and a full transcript available. The transcript is the text right below the audio player, and you can see that it's visible even though the audio isn't playing. That's because each user has the option to just play the audio, just read the transcript, or hit play on the audio and then read along. The transcript starts out by using text in parentheses to record that there's introductory music playing. Next, it indicates who is speaking by using the word announcer followed by a colon. And after that is a word-for-word text version of the audio content. There are also other instances where the transcript records a change in speaker so that the reader can follow the flow of the conversation. Having seen that example, you've probably already guessed some of the reasons that transcripts are so important from an accessibility perspective. First, transcripts are necessary so that people who are deaf or have hearing impairments can access any information presented in audio format. To meet accessibility standards, you must include transcripts for all audio content. Transcripts also provide flexibility for everyone. Anyone can use them to read instead of listen or to follow along while the audio content plays. Transcripts are great, for example, for people who find it easier to concentrate on or remember information when they can read and listen simultaneously. Transcripts are also very helpful for people who want to quickly skim the content to see if they even want to listen to the full audio. In addition to being easier to skim, text is also easier to search. Let's say I'm working on a paper and I want to use a quote from a speech. If I only have the audio version of that speech, I'll have to listen to the whole thing to find what I'm looking for, or at least fast forward to the right general area and listen from there. If I have a text version though, I can quickly search the entire text by using the keyboard shortcut Control-F on a Windows computer or Command-F on a Mac to open up a search box. Then I type in the word or phrase I want to find and hit enter. Every instance of that word or phrase in the text will be highlighted, and I can quickly jump to each one to see if it's what I'm looking for. It's way quicker than listening to the audio to find what I want. And then I can copy-paste instead of typing out the quote. Finally, transcripts are also a convenient way to review and take notes on audio content. And they're easy to print if someone prefers to work in hard copy. So they're an excellent tool for students and for providing all users with options in how they interact with our materials. Now that you know what transcripts are and why they're important, let's talk about some strategies for meeting this accessibility requirement. The first and most obvious strategy is to look for audio content that already has a transcript. Sometimes an internet search or talking to a librarian at your college can turn up just what you're looking for. Another strategy is to contact a content creator and ask if they provide transcripts to make their materials accessible to users with disabilities. Some creators won't provide transcripts by default, but they will generate them in response to an accessibility-related request. If the content creator is a publisher or vendor who is being paid to provide content to DCCCD students, faculty, or staff, you can send a much more strongly worded request asking for transcripts to be provided in order to ensure that all users have equal access to the content. There's no guarantee the company will respond by providing transcripts, but if they don't, you may want to look for another content provider. Otherwise, per district policy, it will be your responsibility to make their materials accessible before sharing them at DCCCD. And you don't want to spend your time doing someone else's work for them. If you can't find audio with transcripts or get the creators to provide them for you, another option is to pay a transcription service to create them. Companies like Rev and 3Play Media charge for each minute of audio they transcribe. The downside is that unless your department or college has a budget for transcription services, you would have to pay for this option yourself. You also have some options for creating your own transcripts. First, you can write a script and read from it to record your audio. That strategy makes it very easy to create an accurate transcript. You can also run an audio file through the automatic caption generator in MediaHub to create a transcript. Just remember, you'll still need to revise your script or automatically generated transcript to make sure it's completely accurate in terms of wording, spelling, and punctuation. Let's take a closer look at those two options. One way to quickly create a transcript for your own audio files is to write a full script of what you plan to say. Then imagine yourself as a nightly news anchor and read your script as you record. When you're done recording, listen to the playback of your audio file while looking at the script. Revise the script anytime it doesn't match the audio. Then share your finished transcript along with your audio file. If you record your own audio but don't want to work from a script, you can also use DCCCD's MediaHub streaming service to automatically generate a rough transcript of your audio file. First, access your free DCCCD MediaHub account by going to dcccd.uja.com and logging in with your DCCCD single sign-on credentials. Next, click the Upload button at the top center of the screen. Select the audio option and then click Browse to find the file you want to upload from your computer. While your audio file is uploading, click the Add Captions button, select the Auto Caption option from the drop-down menu and then click Save. Next, click Confirm to upload your file to MediaHub. After your audio file processes and finishes uploading, MediaHub will use speech recognition technology to create an automatic transcript. Because it's computer-generated, the transcript will require some editing to meet accessibility requirements, but it will still save you a lot of typing time. To access the automatically generated transcript, locate your audio file in your My Media collection and hover your mouse over the thumbnail image for the file. Then choose More from the menu that appears. Click Accessibility at the lower left of the screen. Then download the plain text transcript file. Remember, this is just an automatically generated transcript. You'll still need to listen to your audio file while looking at the transcript and then correct any inconsistencies. You'll also need to make sure that all the text is spelled correctly and properly punctuated. If you find that you spend a lot of time correcting transcripts for audio you record, you can take a few extra steps that will help MediaHub generate a more accurate transcript. First, make sure that you record your videos in a quiet space. Background noises can confuse speech recognition tools, so before you start recording, listen to see if you can hear pets, children, or other noises that might be captured as part of your audio. For best results, you also want to speak slowly and clearly so that your individual words will be distinct. It may also help to upgrade your recording equipment. Practice recording with your headset or recording device, then play it back to listen to the sound quality. If the quality is low, you may want to consider purchasing an external mic to capture higher quality audio that will generate more accurate automatic transcripts. Let's wrap up by recapping the most important takeaways about audio transcripts. First, transcripts are an accessibility requirement because without them, people who are deaf or have hearing impairments can't access any information presented in audio format. But transcripts also provide flexibility to anyone who interacts with the content, since audio with a transcript allows users to choose whether they want to listen, read, or both. The text transcript also provides a convenient way to search for content, take notes, or print a copy to review later. When you're reviewing or creating transcripts, remember that the text should include not only an exact reproduction of the spoken words, but also additional information about who is speaking and any non-speech sounds that someone would need to know about in order to get the full context and meaning of the audio. And finally, remember that you are ultimately responsible for making sure that the content you share is accessible. If you can't find audio transcripts or get a content creator to provide them for you, you can either pay a transcription service or create them yourself. But if you go for the do-it-yourself option, don't start from scratch. Instead, use shortcuts like recording from a script or using MediaHub to create a first draft of the transcript. To learn more tips for creating accessible materials, visit DCCCD's full accessibility checklist at dcccd.edu/accessibility checklist. The checklist includes audio transcripts, but it also covers 9 other best practices that will help make your materials accessible to people with disabilities and more effective for everyone. You can also access the links to resources that I've mentioned by viewing this PowerPoint online. Just use the short link dcccd.edu/A11Y-15 to access this presentation, as well as all the others in the 15-minute accessibility video series. Thank you so much for watching.